Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Damage Control Sailing. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to do a quick video on just what it cost me to get to this point, because that seems to be the number one question I'm being asked. I just moved this boat from Florida to Virginia without doing any shakedown, with all kinds of adventures and all kinds of trouble, learning all the way, and yet the number one question is, what did it cost? That's a good question, and I don't mind answering it. Even for the nosy people who have no interest in boats and just want to know what I'm spending. Nah, that wouldn't happen. I'm sure everyone wants to know for a reason, a good reason. Like maybe they want to get into the lifestyle. The issue with that is everything is situational. So just because I spent a certain amount doesn't mean you'll spend the same amount. You could spend more, you could spend less. And there are a number of factors to determine what you'll spend. What I'll do is tell you my journey, and I think it was probably average. So, yeah, let's go into it. The first thing you should probably do is establish a budget. That budget will determine whether or not you're going to take out a loan or pay cash for your boat. Again, that's purely personal. What can you afford? Me personally, I'm close to retirement, so I don't want any debt, and a loan just wasn't in the cards for me. Not only that, I got an older boat. My boat is 30 years old, and banks generally don't want to finance a 30-year-old boat. So I had to determine my budget based on having to pay cash. Once you've established a budget, then the search begins. The important thing about a boat search is not to rush. I searched for over 2 years before I finally got this boat. My search took me pretty far, all the way up and down the East Coast. And yes, the East Coast, because there was no way I could get a boat from the West Coast other than to truck it. There was no way I could sail a boat from the West Coast right now. I just can't do it. I don't have the time or expertise. So it had to be an East Coast boat. Boats come and go. So when you think you have to have a boat, don't be pressured to get that boat if it's not within your budget, or if it's not right, or if it's just too much wrong with the boat. Boats come and go. There will be another one. You just have to be patient. For some reason, I always thought I had to have an ML, because when I first started watching sailing videos, I watched the most popular one that had that ML. So it had me thinking I had to have an ML. And what would I do with a 53-foot boat by myself? The MLs got wiped off the table. 1, because they're really expensive. 2, deep drafts. You need a lot of water. You need at least 8 feet to be comfortable. And a lot of places I go don't have 8 feet of water. For example, this marina has 6 feet of water. I have a 5-7 draft. So I'm right there. At low tide, I drive through the mud. Shannons, there just weren't a lot on the market. There weren't many on the market at all, and there still aren't many on the market.
Two 30-amp shore power cords coming on board.
It's got full electronic suite, autopilot. Of course, it's got this.
Yeah, the one I went to see in Florida, the hurricane damaged one, it was so, I didn't get to see all of this. It was so beat up.
Yeah.
So now seeing one intact, it's
Different.
yes. After patiently searching for more than 2 years, I finally settled in on this boat, and the timing was right. And again, that's why I say it's important to be patient. Things just seem to come together had a motivated seller right after COVID, and things worked out for both of us. So patience really paid off. After traveling to Florida to see this boat, I liked it enough to present an offer. My initial offer was rejected, and maybe it was a bit of a low ball, but hey, I read up on a tactic of going in 18% below asking price as starters, and that's a good buffer, especially with older boats, because things will go wrong, right? So that 18% may cover, some of the things that go wrong. It's a good buffer. Anyway, it was rejected. So I upped it, and we settled in on a number. And I'll discuss that number once I give you the roll-up later. Once you decide which boat you want, then you should get a survey, especially if you're spending over $100,000. You would never buy a boat without a survey. What's another $1,500 to $2,000 for a survey if you're spending over $100,000? Just doesn't make sense to not get a survey. Once the survey comes back, usually you'll be able to negotiate further based on how good the boat is or what it needs. So me personally, I asked for another $5,000 off, and the seller wouldn't budge. However, there was still some negotiation wiggle room with the broker. The broker gets 10% of the selling price, right? Well, if the seller won't move, maybe you might suggest that the broker gives up some of his commission. And if he's the only broker, meaning there's no buyer's broker, then he's not having to split that 10% anyway. So that's what I did. The broker had to. I don't even know if I should be giving out this trade secret, but the seller's broker wasn't the best. He didn't even do anything for the money. I don't even know if I should be saying that. However, he gave up some of his commission to make this deal happen. So then you arrive at a negotiated price and you agree to buy the boat. After that, there's everything else. And I have a whole heap of receipts that talk about that everything else. Well, hopefully that gives you a good idea of the boat buying process, so that if you're looking for a boat, maybe this could help you. If you were just being nosy, hopefully you were entertained. I'm just thankful that you're watching. So thanks.